Hey everyone, good morning. This is an update on the huge clashes across the United States. Anti-Americans attack troops. Tusi TV, check him out. Shout out to Tausi TV. Check him out on YouTube. The mainstream media, like CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, all of them, would like you to believe that these protests are mostly peaceful. No, they are not. Anybody who participates in these are un-American. I said it. Anybody who does this is un-American. Does that look peaceful to you? Cops in full riot gear running after people who are causing chaos? Our president needs to send in the military and take control. Declare martial law. These fools want to act foolish. Declare martial law. Does this look peaceful? This is ridiculous. We are getting sick of this. The majority of the country are for mass deportations. Do you want to know who's not? Illegal immigrants and these fools. And that's not a majority of the nation. That's only in sanctuary states and cities. This nonsense is ridiculous and needs to be stopped. Gunshots being heard. This is getting ridiculous.
We started getting the sad updates that a shooter was seen, alleged suspect who was actually then arrested. There is a photo of the suspect at the moment of arrest with crazy big hair in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we do also have the video of the moment of the arrest. A number of officers in SWAT uniform basically took him down after the shooting in Salt Lake City on the street. We can show you that video as well. Then we're going to come back and with more updates and get your reaction. That was Salt Lake City in Utah.
Looked peaceful, real peaceful.
Well, so-called incidents. There have been attacks, car rammings, and other violent acts. But in Portland, which is still relatively controlled by Antifa, the far-left mob, tried to torch.
By the way, Antifa, they should be dismantled and devoured and put in prison.
The ICE building in the city, fires were set just very close by to one of the schools, elementary schools in the area, which is not really a wise thing to do when there would be, obviously, I mean, it was Saturday, but it's still school for kids that you are putting at risk. Let's quickly take you to that video, and then we'll come back.
You do know that those pew-pews have rubber bullets. They're non-lethal. They're using non-lethal force. So I don't really care about what that says, because that's not actual. And yeah, they're having people come at them. I could see why. Have you seen what's been going on to them?
Yes.
These violent protests need to be stopped. They need to be stopped now. No more No King's Day. No more protest. Stop them. Shut them down. That's that.
Later. Now, moving away
That's
from
not free speech.
in the US, they're going back to LA quickly because there's a video just showing the absolute chaos of the track.
Okay, I want y'all to pay attention because this is what the news media is called, and Los Angeles are calling mostly peaceful protests.
The problem is, as I said, it's the job of the FBI to continue their investigation to identify those organizers who we know they are paid actors to cause this. And these are the people who claim that President Trump is the enemy.
No, they're the enemy, not President Trump. They are the enemy.
The same people who are currently trying to burn down the cities in the United States. The same people who didn't accept the result of the election. Apparently, these are the good guys.
No, they're not. They're the evil ones. Does this look peaceful? Does this look peaceful? Not peaceful. Not mostly peaceful. Chaos, rioting, nonsense. At least today I see an American flag. Stop waving foreign flags on our streets. Does this look peaceful? That doesn't look very peaceful to me. President Trump needs to call martial law and take over the streets with the military and clean this up. Because this is starting to look and act like a third world country. Gone are the days of us being a superpower. Gone are the days of us having major influence because we look foolish when stuff like this happens. At least I see American flags today.
By the way, some of these guys, as I said, some are paid to be there, but the others, especially they're...
Also, if you're being paid to protest, you are really foolish and really not too bright, because you're allowing someone to pay you that, and you could potentially A, get hurt, or B, become a target for arrest. So I hope that money's worth it.
More younger members of Antifa, they are the ones who just emotionally just like the idea of chaos. So they are professional rioters wherever they go. It actually completely undermined the rest of the No King's Day protests, the actual demonstration.
I don't really care about the actual demonstration because you guys lost your meaning and your messaging a long time ago. And what I really want to know is, if the Democratic Party is so against it, mass deportation, why the hell did Hillary Clinton and Obama both run off of that on your campaign?
We were marching.
Oh, and the Clintons.
Quite smart this time. They thought they've been getting bad PR in the media with all the Mexican flags and everything else. So they started giving people, the protesters, American flags for free, like having American flags.
Yeah, take an American flag because they were getting in trouble for waving the foreign flags. Understand this. We don't care. We don't want you on our streets anymore. Go away. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, because otherwise we're all going to get called Mexican or whatever, or illegal migrants. This is what they were doing. And they're not fooling anybody, but they think they're trying their best. Anyway, the federal building in LA, initially what was outside was the actual big crowd, big protest. Then, when the riots broke out, the police wasted no time. You had the flashbangs, tear gas, rubber bullets, batons, everything else. And the LAPD have been under pressure over the last week to step up their game, and they seem to be finally doing it.
They might be doing it, but the streets still look like this. So President Trump, declare martial law. Call in the troops. Call in the big boys. Let's see how brave these guys really are. Yeah, why do you all wear masks? If you're so brave and you stand for immigration, show us your faces, because COVID's not going on, you cowards. Because anybody who is doing this protest and has a mask covering their face is a coward.
Now, as this...
You certainly can't be proud of yourself anyway, because you're wearing a mask.
We are currently not involved in the war, but it is possible that we might get involved. So keep that in.
Okay, so he's pretty much done with the protest. He's moving on to Iran and Israel. But that is another point. There is an actual war that people are trying to drag us into. And you guys are distracting our military, our National Guard, and our president from his main job, which is defending this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And guess what? You guys are the domestic enemy at this point. Do you understand that a majority of the country voted for Donald Trump? He ran on immigration. That was his main platform. So you all knew this was going to happen, which means you were planning these protests way before. So you ought to be in trouble for, what do you call it? Initiating violent protests. Because it's just ridiculous. It really is. It's just absolutely ridiculous. There is a reason why immigrants need to be legal. And I keep hearing Democratic leaders say, oh, they're hardworking people that have lived here all their lives. A, I don't care if they've been here 5 minutes or 50 years. And B, how could they be working if they don't have identification? That means they have identification. That means they have a social. Where did they get that? That wasn't given to them by the proper authorities. It wasn't given to them by Social Security Administration. It's not like they generated a new number. No, no, no. No, no. They bought, or were given a Social Security number and an ID of an actual American citizen. And they use that. So maybe think about that when you're protesting, because one of these illegal aliens, or immigrants rather, one of these illegal immigrants could have your ID, could have your Social Security number.
That's why they call them illegal.
That's why they're called illegal immigrants. They're not undocumented. They're not unlawful. They're illegal immigrants. And you guys can push these riots all you want, but at the end of the day, they are still going to get deported. At the end of the day, the law is still going to be held. And if I were the president, which I am not clearly, but if I were, I would declare martial law and get every single one of them off the streets immediately, arrest and charge every single one that is causing chaos. You have a right to protest peacefully. You do not have a right to take on your government. You do not have a right to attack ICE agents or FBI agents or law enforcement in any way. Those are not part of your freedom of speech umbrellas. Okay?
They're giving them a chance to self-deport so then they can get a path to citizenship.
Yeah, and Donald Trump and Kristi Noem told you guys, told everybody, we'll give you a path to citizenship. All you got to do, self-deport, and you can come back and do it the right way. We will give you a path to citizenship. Yet, does anybody take that option? Nope. We'd rather cause chaos in our streets. We'd rather fight the police, fight the injustice. Guess what? It's not injustice, it's the law. And regardless of what AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Bill Clinton, Obama, Hillary Clinton, or any of them other Democrats say. Because guess what? They were all about illegal immigration and mass deportation when they were on the ticket.
And they had control of the presidency.
Yeah, also, they had control of the Senate and everything else. Why didn't they change the laws? Why didn't they do anything about the actual immigration laws? Because they don't support it. They're just doing this because they don't like Trump. And they want to do anything in their power to get him out of office. And it's not gonna happen this time because the American people are not falling for the nonsense. I'm just telling you. Because we fell for it once back in 2020. And that's shame on us. But we will not fall for it again. Once a shame on us, twice as shame on us worse. Actually, once a shame on you, twice as shame on us. But we're not going to fall for it this time. Mass deportation needs to happen. They need to stop the flow of migrants, which they do. Now they need to deport the ones that are here in this country illegally, which they are working on, regardless of these chaotic nonsense going on. The No King's Day, guess what? It's not a No King's Day. Are you calling Obama a king? Because he would have been a king too, because he deported more people than Trump. So are you doing that? No. You only do this because you have TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. So stop the nonsense. Stay your butts home. We're tired of hearing about it. And if you're in this country illegally, you need to deport so you can come back and get a path to citizenship. There is a reason we do it the way we do it. There is not one country outside of the U.S. that does this nonsense, that allows this. Not one. There is not one country outside of the U.S. that has sanctuary city or state policies. Not one. Why do you think that is? Because you need to vet the people. Do you know that there is probably sleeper cells? Most likely, the FBI told us that there is sleeper cells all over the world, country at this point because of Biden's failed immigration policies and having just an open border. Do you know we have sleeper cells from Iran in our country now because of it? So, yeah, when Iran decides to retaliate, because they blame us for everything, guess where they're going to retaliate? I know I wouldn't be going to no big demonstrations right about now. I know I wouldn't be protesting anything if I were you right now. Because of the open border policies of the past administration. I want you all to understand this. There are sleeper cells from the FBI that said it. There are sleeper cells in our country. Bad people are in our country, ready and willing to do damage. All they have to be doing is giving the word from Iran. And Biden did that.
Was your kid or sister, whatever, that got fucking raped by one of these?
You need to remember the victims. Laken Riley, Rachel Morin. There's just two. Rachel's kids are all victims of that person. Laken Riley's friends and family and loved ones are all victims of those people. And no, I know all immigrants aren't bad like the people that did those crimes. I know that. But it does not matter at this point. The point is that this country is a country of law and order. And right now, it's a country of chaos, and it needs to be stopped. If you are in this country illegally, I'm sorry, but you have to go. That's why self-deportation is the move. Because then, because no country in their right mind, no president, no anybody, lawmaker would be willing to give you any kind of citizenship if they see that you're willing to break whatever laws to do whatever you want and get whatever you want. No country would do that. If you want to be an American citizen, you need to do it the right way. Self-deport, go on that CDPPP app or whatever it's called, self-deport, and then come back and do it the right way. It's that simple. It's the way it's been done since our ancestors came here. And also, to those folks who are calling LA Mexico and that it should be given back to Mexico, technically, it wasn't Mexico's, but only for a short period of time. Because it was Ellis Island, it was the Native Americans, technically, that owned this land. So if anybody gets this land reverted back, it wouldn't be Mexico. It would be the Native Americans. Some of them anyway. And people came through to this country through Ellis Island. They learned the language. They learned the culture. Right now, I don't see any assimilation. All I see is people breaking into our country, waving their flags, and I have to learn Spanish. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but let's face facts. I literally get TV commercials on my TV that I can't understand. I don't go to another country on vacation and expect them to know my language and learn my language, because it's not the way it works. So when you come here, you need to learn the language. You need to learn the cultures. You're claiming asylum because you don't like your country, yet you are holding your country higher than this country. I don't get it. That's all. I just don't get it. Make it make sense. Most of what the Democrats are doing these days doesn't make sense. But that being said, political violence is all coming from their side of things and the liberal side of things. These people are crazy at this point. Can we stop, please? People, knock it off. Democrats, stand up and say, this is not okay. Because you know what? Donald Trump stood up on the insurrection on January 6th and said, this is not okay, go home. You still haven't. And this is worse than January 6th at this point. This is a hell of a lot worse than January 6th. This is a much bigger insurrection than January 6th. And you stood up and said something then. You're not going to stand up and say something now? A little hypocritical. This is a hostile takeover you are attempting, not a protest. This is a hostile takeover. So stop it. Donald Trump, call martial law and take care of business. And I don't give a crap what the Democrats say about it. You don't like it? Tough shit. You should have done your jobs. Because I'm tired of watching 90% of my TV coverage is all about these violent raids and these violent protests. It's ridiculous. And looting, again, how is looting a store got anything to do with illegal immigration? Or Palestine, or any of the other causes you're claiming to care so much about. How does owning the newest, hottest kicks have anything to do with that? How does stealing from your neighbors have anything to do with that? How does burning down your banks and stores have anything to do with that? How does getting paid to protest have anything to do with that? You are trying a hostile takeover, and it needs to be ended now. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, I hope you get this, and I hope you do. Declare martial law, end these protests today. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. God bless. Don't forget, like and subscribe for more. Thanks, guys.